Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes, and thank you for joining me for day number 3 of my 31 Days of Horror. Today's movie is a bit of a throwback to a film from 1934, starring two horror icons being Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. Today's movie is The Black Cat, as I said, from 1934. So as usual, we'll quickly start with the plot for this movie before I get into my thoughts of it. So the plot for this one, we follow two newlyweds who are on this train ride to whatever location for their honeymoon. On the train, they meet Bela Lugosi's character. They start talking, become friendly, whatever. They all get off at the same stop. It's this dark, stormy night. They essentially get into whatever the equivalent of a taxi is back in those times. And, they're driving and they have an accident. The driver ends up dying. And Bela Lugosi pretty much says, hey, the place I'm going is just up this road. It's a house. You guys come with me. I'll get you out of the rain and, somewhere safe. And the house is owned by Boris Karloff's character. Now, Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff's characters have this history together. Karloff's character is shown to be a pretty shady dude with, a dark past, and those two kind of have this beef that ends up, coming into play through the film, and the newlyweds also come into the story a little bit. I'm making it sound a lot more complicated than what it actually is, but either way, let's get into my thoughts of The Black Cat from 1934. So as I just said in my plot description, I probably made this movie sound a lot more complicated than what it actually is. A matter of fact, this movie is very simple. So I'm just guessing, but this could be a really short review. Where do I want to start? This movie has a runtime of only 65 minutes, which is actually really common of films around this time and of this era, so it's not unheard of, but 65 minutes. And for a movie of only an hour and 5, I feel like this movie is really slow in parts, and I probably put that down to the fact of, as I said, this movie is really simple. There actually isn't a lot that's overly interesting going on in this movie. I mean, the plot's fine. It's not like it's terrible or the story's completely uninteresting. As I said, I just don't think there's anything too exciting or anything that really draws me into the plot. I just think it's kind of fine. The biggest highlight in this movie, which I brought up before, is Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff, two of the greats in horror cinema ever. I was going to say of this era, but definitely on the grand scale of things, they're two of the best to ever do it. Every scene that they're in, it's just hypnotic. They're two great actors, they steal the show, and watching them, bounce off each other. A lot of people bring up the scene where they're playing chess and they're just sitting across from each other, and it really is such great acting, and you know why they're so loved in the horror community. They were two greats. But as I said, the plot for this one is just nothing overly exciting. It's just a very simple movie. And, the only real case I could make for people to go and check this one out is Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. As I said, the plot's fine, it's just not overly exciting. So, as I said, I could pretty much sum up this review very quick. It's a fine movie. Nothing overly exciting, two great performances, but just a very simple watch overall. So to already sum up my thoughts of this movie, I definitely have better recommendations of movies from the 30s or around this time to go and check out. As I said, the biggest highlight is to watch Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi have equal parts in this movie and sort of bounce off each other and, put in two great performances. As I said, the story isn't terrible or anything. It's not completely uninteresting. There's just nothing really drawing to it. It's just kind of fine and very simple and basic. I like the parts where Bela Lugosi is scared of the cat, and there's a part where he throws something at it and kills it. I thought that was pretty funny, but overall, I don't know. This movie is just very simple. As I said, there's probably better ones to recommend for sure from the 30s and around this time. So to give The Black Cat from 1934 a rating out of 10, I'm just going to give it a 5. I think a 5 is the perfect score for how I feel. As I said, it's just fine. The movie's just okay. As I said, a 65-minute runtime. It does feel slightly longer than that because some scenes just do kind of drag. When I say that, I'm not saying it feels like 2 hours. It's like a constant fucking pain to get through, but it is a little slow in parts. So a 5 out of 10 feels right for me for this rating. So thank you for joining me for day number 3 of my 31 Days of Horror, and I'll see you tomorrow for day number 4. Thanks, guys.